Hi, and welcome to Home Care This Week. If you were to ask what was the number one thing that a senior has concerns about as they age and as things maybe get a little bit more difficult and a little more challenging, what would that one thing that they really are concerned about be? Maybe some people would say diseases, maybe some people would say getting hurt or falling, that kind of thing. It's interesting, and those are important things and things to worry about. But often it is, for a senior, is lack of independence. Losing their independence is the most important thing, and it's the thing that they worry about most. And it's after you kind of think about it, that makes some sense. So it's important to keep that in mind and understand the challenges for seniors as they're going along on this journey, that independence is a critical and important element. And there are ways to work with people and work with your loved one so that that feeling of lack of independence or lack of control is not as apparent and it's not as dramatic, and it can be dealt with. I sat down and talked with our case manager, Eileen, who has talked and worked with a lot of families and their loved ones who are seniors and dealt with this kind of situation. And there are a lot of things to think about and consider and understand. So there's a few things that we had talked about in a recent conversation.
Absolutely, but to get back to the paranoia, which is really, technically, it's a strong word, but people being concerned what's going on behind their back, that is something to be very aware of when dealing with your parents, and for me, when dealing with clients, because what's happening is people are losing control. You know, you start off life as a child, everybody tells you what to do. You don't know any different, so that's okay, and then you become more independent, and then you have people depending on you, and then it reverses itself. And then pretty soon you got your kids telling you what to do. And then there's also, whether they admit it or not, there's that worry of, I'm not as sharp as I used to be. Oftentimes they won't talk about because they don't want to end up in assisted living. They don't want people to worry about it. And so you always need to be aware of that and try to be upfront and open in what you're talking about. Try not to talk behind their back too much. If you do discuss things with your siblings, use your own judgment, but it's a good idea to let them know what's going on. Maybe not everything that was said, but that happens in a doctor visit as well.
So the big thing at that point is fear of losing their independence. And so what you're looking at doing is to try to do things in a way that is respectful to the point where, this is not about losing independence. This is about caring for somebody in a way that they don't perceive it as literally it's just pulling my independence away. It's because the big thing is that losing of independence.
Absolutely. And it's not only for their dignity, for their feelings, it's for their well-being. It's really for the family dynamic. You have to try to keep the matriarchal and patriarchal relationship in the family dynamic going. It gives them confidence, but there also has to be reality. And a lot of times I do understand they tend to sometimes become less reasonable and more forceful as they feel that they're losing control. They're just trying to hang on. But really, the more independent you can keep your parents, the healthier they're going to be. In home care, I tell people in assessments all the time, we do not coddle people. We want them to do as much as they can on their own. And we come along and assist. The whole point is to try to keep them safe and to give them the assistance they need. Once you start coddling a person, you could be creating an invalid, and that's not good for anybody.